Hi, I'm here to introduce you to my autonomous Minecraft player called MineBot. Right here, I'm going to tell it to start, and I'm not actually touching the keyboard or mouse right now. It's just off doing on its own. In the top right, you can see what it looks like from somebody watching it. It's going around the first steps of what it does when it starts off. It's just gathering some dirt, because dirt's just a general use sort of block that it likes to have in its inventory, and it can just use it for placing, building. It's just good to have some. In the top left, you can see a list of different managers that are going. These modules keep track of all the things that it needs to constantly be thinking about. This gets updated every 20th of a second, and if it's green, it means it ran. If it's red, it means it's not being run. You can see, for example, Look Manager is running constantly, whereas Inventory Manager only runs every once in a while. A challenge to building a bot like this is to avoid detection by server owners. They don't like having bots on their servers because it then changes the way the gameplay works. It'll automatically gather resources for you, and in general, they just don't want this happening. So Look Manager is a way around this. It's one of the features in this that makes it much more difficult to avoid. Rather than what other bots have tried to do, where they just look at a block that they want to mine, Look Manager always has an idea of where should it be looking, and then says, I'm not going to look right at the center of it, because it'll then detect that. It'll instead constantly be moving the mouse around the same way a player would, and it'll never actually look at the center of the block. You can see it right now, even as it's trying to break this wood, you can see it constantly changing where it shifts, and it's always rotating. Another important module is memory. What memory does is it's constantly looking around at the blocks that are there and thinking, what blocks around me should I keep track of? That way it knows what's around it. Because it doesn't, unlike seeing the screen, it can actually see what the blocks in the world around it are, and it then knows, okay, if I want to go get a piece of wood, these are the pieces of wood that are around me. Which makes it then very quickly able to say, where is it? And then it can do a pathfinding algorithm to go to the wood. And this is more than just with wood. This will be also for dirt or cobblestone or anything it'll want. Inventory Manager serves to keep track of what it has in its inventory. And its jobs can range from figuring out if it has enough iron to craft a new piece of armor, to putting the armor on, to always making sure that its best tools are in the hotbar. At this point, the early game strategy module is seeing that it has enough oak and dirt that it's ready to start building some tools. So you're going to see it about to start crafting items. So here it knows how to craft items, it knows what to craft, it's going to build what it can out of the inventory crafting table, as well as make a larger crafting table, which then it's going to place in the world. However, at this point it's realized it's used some of the oak it had, so it no longer has enough oak to build the tools it wanted because it used some on the crafting table. So it's going to grab some more, and now here it is crafting a stone or a wooden pickaxe. And now in the memory manager, it's going to keep track of where that crafting table is, so later it can get back to it. Note how Inventory Manager ensured that the pickaxe is in the hotbar. Onto the combat module. What it does is it's always looking around saying what mobs are around me, what could attack me, and then it will see if any of those are a threat, and if they are, it will then stop what it's doing, go kill it, and then return back to what it was doing. It also works with the Inventory Manager to always make sure it's using the best tool it has in its inventory to do the most damage. Watch the tool switch here when it's switched to the wooden pickaxe to then mine the stone. A small one is Food Manager. It just makes sure that the player is always fed. It'll keep track of what food it has, it'll work with the Inventory Manager, and stop every once in a while to take a break to eat. Here you can see it creating a stone pickaxe, which is later in the progression. The whole progression is handled by Early Game Manager, which then goes from the steps, okay, you need these resources in this order, and then you need more of them as you go through the progression. Then that might mean at the beginning, get the dirt, get the wood, then it'll be stuff like get the pickaxe. Here you can see it's gathering still some more stone to the point where it can then build a furnace. 4.5 minutes into MineBot's life, it already has a stockpile of logs and full complement of stone tools, and you can see it's about to make a furnace. Imagine the potential that you could get from having 10 of these running 24/7 on a server, just non-stop all day. In order to do any task, MineBot usually has to get from one location to another. And that's why I think the most interesting part of this program is the pathfinding algorithm. It's a custom algorithm we built that's a variation on A star. And if you want, you can check out my other video with the link in the description to find out more about it.